Warning, this is an integrity-based podcast.
If you're expecting a bunch of guru fluff and get-rich-quick garbage, you've come to the wrong place. This show is the no bullshit real deal.
No bullshit real deal.
I'm Larry Harbolt, and they call me the real deal. Welcome to my show. This show is aimed at providing you with quality information so you can make more profit in the fastest way possible without making costly mistakes from the deals you do.
Let's get started.
Hello. Today I want to talk about something that I think is very important, especially if you manage your own rental properties. Now, having managed my own rental properties for years, I've had my share of horror stories, and that's why I want to tell you about what I'm talking today. Recently, a friend and a mentor of mine, who I believe teaches the very best single-family owner-manager property management course I know of and have ever seen anywhere. His name is David Tilney. You see, David has refined property management to a level of expertise unlike anything I've seen before. David took another one of my mentors by the name of Jack Miller's property management course and developed it into a system at a whole nother level that gives you management skills and techniques with time-tested management techniques that are filled with both legal and ethical ideas, unlike anything I've ever heard in one seminar before, and unlike anything you're ever going to find anywhere other than in David's classes. Now, those of you who follow my podcasts know I never, ever promote anyone I don't personally believe to be of the highest quality and integrity, and it has to be someone I truly admire. David is one of my mentors, and I truly admire him. Now, David's class gives not only excellent property management skills, it also gives different ways to get more rent every month without losing tenants, and in many cases, totally hands-off. It's a wonderful training, believe me. This alone is worth the cost of his seminars. He also teaches different ways to make money without ownership of any property and without needing any management skills, without having to deal with tenants living in rental properties that you're managing while making money every month, completely hands-off. Now, David does a property management class. It's a 2-day class. It's a great class. We've all learned so much from this, all of my friends. Now, from what I learned from David is how I came up with one of my strategies I teach my students, because I believe this is an excellent strategy. I've kind of melded what I do in with what I learned from David, and I think this is a very, very good idea for those of you getting started as a real estate investor. Now, here's how it works. When you set an appointment to meet with a seller, always go and try everything you can think of to create a profitable and an affordable deal for you while trying to structure your deal in a way that is also good for the sellers, that you will be renting the property long term. That's the key. You're going to keep it and rent it long term. Now, you're going to go and you're going to try to buy the house. But if you're unable to create a good deal with the seller and you have tried everything you can think of to make the deal work for both of you, don't leave. Ask the seller if they will allow you to lease the property with an option to purchase at some later date. Now, if you don't know what a lease option deal is, it is a type of rent-to-own method of buying a property. Part of the payment is rent. The other part is for the option every month. Usually it's non-refundable. Now, may I suggest if you're successful negotiating a lease with an option to buy, here's something you always want to think about. When you're buying a property, use a lease agreement and an option to purchase, all in one document when you are buying. When you're selling a property, using a separate lease agreement and a separate option to purchase agreement. When you sell, you want to keep them separate. When you're buying, you want them all in one document. More on that later. Eventually, I'm going to do a podcast on this very subject because it's very, very important for you. So, number one, go to try and buy the property. If you just can't buy it, try to do a rent-to-own or a lease option. Now, in the event that you're unsuccessful getting a lease with an option deal, don't leave. Talk to the sellers and try one last strategy that I use that, if successful, will allow you to make as much or more monthly cash flow than the first two strategies. Here's what it is. If the sellers don't like either of your first two proposals, ask the seller if they'd be willing to lease you the property with the right to sublease the property to another tenant. If the seller will allow you to do this, it will allow you to hopefully rent the property to another person for more rent each month than you have agreed to pay. And this is going to give you a monthly cash flow without ever owning a property. Now, if you'll follow this advice, you'll have covered numerous bases that will give you maximum opportunity most other investors ever use. This one idea alone can give you a success ratio far better results than you're currently experiencing from your rental properties. You see, when you are leasing with a right to sublease, you may be responsible for a few dollars worth of minor maintenance, but you don't have the property taxes. You don't have the property insurance. The maintenance of the building is taken care of by the owner, not by you. If the heating plant goes down, if the air conditioner goes down, that is their problem. You're there just to make a cash flow, and I think this is an excellent strategy. If you own a property long term, you do get some benefits from it. But this strategy can give you cash flow that you're seeking. And many real estate investors who own long-term income properties, they focus on the monthly cash flow as the reason for owning the properties. Well, you can make the cash flow without ownership costs. And you can do it hands off. Because if I lease from the seller, let's say the property will rent for $1,000 a month. If the seller will rent it to me for $900 a month, and then I sublet it to another property manager who can get $1,200 a month, he'll pay me $1,200, I will send on $900, I can put $300 a month in my pocket. Now, there are more reasons why investors own long-term income properties, and they get depreciation, which is a write-off of the price you pay for the improvements of a property that you're buying over 27 and a half years. That's for a single-family house or a small multi-unit property. You get appreciation. This is the increase in value of that property due to inflation in the area the property is located in. Property values keep going up in most cases. So you get depreciation, appreciation, and eventually the investors' properties are paid off completely by the tenants from the rent they pay every month. That's the beauty of owning income properties. This is where you can create your wealth. I have this conversation with students all the time. Even if you don't want to be a property manager and deal with tenants and toilets, if you will plant the seed, if you will buy a property, even if it just breaks even, at least the tenants are paying it off someday. It's going to be paid for, and you're going to look like a genius. And all the time, you're also getting tax benefits from those properties. You need to start buying income properties. Even if you don't want to manage them yourself, hire a property manager. Factor that into your numbers. This is how you're going to create your wealth, because someone else is paying for your properties from the rent they give you each month. So they shouldn't cost you anything. Always, always, always try to buy as many of these well-selected rental properties as you can. You need a base of them. And then someday those properties are going to be paid off by someone else that's going to create your wealth for you. Now, this is truly how real estate wealth is created. And it goes on as long as you own your properties, because once the property is paid for, you get to keep more of the rent because you don't have to send on the monthly mortgage payment. The other costs are going to stay with you. David Tilney gave me permission to give you his contact information for those of you who would like to contact him to learn how to improve your property management skills and streamline the way you manage your properties. Let me give you his website. His website is davidtilney, TILNEY.com. His email address is hfpm@davidtilney.com. His Facebook page, facebook.com/hassle-free seminars. And for those of you who would like to talk directly to David, and I do have his permission to give his number out, David's phone number is 719-492-7462. In the near future, I'm going to be doing a podcast with David, so all of you can hear for yourselves why I believe David's property management system is the best available anywhere. So, until our next podcast, please go to larryharbolt.com for all of your real estate information needs, and make sure that you keep following me every week and tell all your friends. So until next time, wish you good luck and happy investing. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal Podcast with Larry Harbolt. To learn more about investing in real estate, head on over to larryharbolt.com and register for his educational tips and articles delivered by email.